Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This video, we are looking at the NBA Finals game number 5 picks. Looks like it's going to be the final NBA game of the season. Pretty likely. We have the Nuggets pretty heavily favored. They've handled Miami every game, except for game 2. Comfortably, even in that game, they were ahead by 3/4, double digits. So it looks like Jokic and company will look to bring the title to Denver for the first time in team history. Got 6 props want to share. After this, we'll go to making some baseball props for a bit until we get the NFL back in action in only a couple months. So as always, enjoy the videos. Appreciate the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Try to end the season off with a bang. First prop that I'm looking at is taking a couple of unders, which we'll get to. But the first one, I'm going back over to PRA, and I'm taking Jokic at 52.5 over. The last game, stayed away from it at 54.5. Just seemed like a pretty big jump. He was in foul trouble, so probably could have got it if he needed to. But we saw Bruce Brown have a big game off the bench, and Jokic still played well. Just didn't have crazy stats because some foul trouble and just lower assists in that game. But I think he's going to have a big game at home in Denver, where they're just such a tough place for opposing teams to win. Nuggets have just lost one game at home all postseason, and I don't see them losing two against Miami. So I'm taking Jokic over, 52.5 PRA. Another over that I like is Aaron Gordon. I had that big game, put up 40 last game, PRA-wise. Don't expect him to put up that much again, but he's still been pretty good in this series. Just has a mismatch going up against. Started off when they were game 1 where they looked to exploit him, and he had, bunch of their early first couple baskets, and they put Butler on him for a bit, but in general, it's still a tough matchup because Miami just doesn't have the size to keep up with Denver, so they want to try to slow down Jokic. Gordon's going to have a mismatch, and Porter struggled this series, but whoever they brought in his place has kind of done well. So I like Gordon. He's going to give you some rebounds, give you some baskets, he cuts, he gets easy looks at the rim that way, so taking him over. Kyle Lowry's been one of the more consistent Miami Heat role players in this series. Bam's been their best player, and Kyle Lowry has kind of been, a guy coming off the bench, kind of does what he needs to do, scores a little bit, assists. We've seen Vincent and especially Strus play terribly, so those guys played limited minutes last game, and Lowry played over 30 off the bench, and Duncan played a lot of minutes off the bench as well, and Caleb Martin. So could see Miami do something like that again if, Lowry's still going to get the minutes, but with how bad Strus has played, could see them go with Lowry early. If Vincent also struggles, his PRA is 13.5 and hasn't really done much. But we know shooters like him, it's typically just going to take one to go in early, and then they'll catch into rhythm. But I just don't have a ton of confidence that that's going to happen. Caleb Martin, I'd rather take him over instead of Gabe Vincent. And then you got Michael Porter Jr. at 16.5. PRA, you could look to him if you wanted to take a shot. Probably like the points and rebounds better. It's that you get one less there because he's not going to assist much at all. He has 0 assists in the last 3 games. But points and rebounds, his number's at 16.5, which doesn't look terrible. I said we're going to go with some unders in this one. So see at the points. Looking at an under here, I'm taking an under on Bruce Brown. It's at 11.5. It's kind of jumped up a little bit from last game with how well he played with 21. Fourth quarter, he played well. But I just don't see him having and needing to score that much. In this one, I think Jokic is going to dominate. Murray only had 15 points last game. You expect him to kind of bounce back. And Gordon had a big scoring game. But I think Murray, Jokic are going to do their thing. And then maybe Porter has a decent game. But I'm taking the under on Bruce Brown points at 11.5. Just kind of don't see him getting to double digits in this one. Looking at free throws made, I am taking an under on Jimmy Butler. Might as well just type it in here. Butler's free throws made is at 7 or 6.5. Hasn't had it at all this year. Might look like a trap, but I just don't really see it. Butler not been one to really force his way and get to the free throw line much. And even when he hasn't been as efficient in this series in terms of making them. I believe went 6 of 9 last game. And I don't expect the Miami Heat to be ahead and the Nuggets to kind of foul at the end if needed to. So I don't see that scenario of helping Butler get some extra free throws at the end of the game. Taking an under, don't see that happening. Maybe gets close, but And I just hasn't really shown him at all this year. Maybe he's still not 100% from his injuries, from his ankle injury from previous series. But 2 unders, 3 overs. So far we got 2 Miami guys, 3 Nuggets guys, and then the final piece. We've seen Murray assist a lot. He's 4 straight games of double-digit assists. It's kind of not something we've seen very often, so it could be one that you stay away from. Maybe the points on him look a little bit better. The other over that I was going to take was Michael Porter Jr. at 10.5, but I know he might scare some of you guys away. So, instead of doing him, I'm going to go over to points and assists, and this one I'm going to take Jamal Murray. I expect the Nuggets to just kind of roll in this game, so maybe some of these guys won't have to play too much in the fourth, but I'm hoping it's still within 15. We saw what the Heat can do in the fourth quarter of some games, keep it close and kind of have big fourth quarters. So I expect Malone to still put these guys out there unless it's like a 30-point game, which I don't really see. But I like the Nuggets in this game, taking the overs on Jokic, Aaron Gordon, over PRA on Kyle Lowry, under points on Bruce Brown, under free throws on Jimmy Butler, and over points and assists for Jamal Murray are the 6 props I like for tomorrow's game. Well, depending on when you're watching this, from Monday's game. Best of luck. If you want to tail these, put some other props in the comments that you like, and I will catch you all next time.